Hey guys, Brian from Paintball, and today we have the Line SI Bushmaster. This is obviously a pump gun. Line SI made these, and I remember I was very envious of some of the people on my team that had these back in like the late 80s. Very cool gun. Some of the things I really liked about it back then were the toolless disassembly. Had all these thumb screws and stuff holding it together everywhere, so it's very easy to like take apart and clean. It had I thought it was really cool. If you look, it's got a sight rail and a little nub here for a front sight, so you could actually use that. It was very cool. I remember at the time it had auto trigger, and not every gun had that. Back then, it was a relatively new thing that a lot of manufacturers were hyping. It had thumb screws all over it that made it really easy to kind of take apart and clean. Kind of interesting watch. If you remove this front one, this barrel is not threaded, so it actually just has this notch that screw kind of sits in and holds the barrel in. So this was kind of an earlier and less technically advanced maybe design in a lot of ways, but it worked. And there was no sizing of your paint back then, really, other than buying maybe a different brand. But we didn't really have that, and there were no inserts, and there were no other way to deal with that. And you adjusted your velocity if necessary by changing out springs. So you had to have a little spring kit with different tension springs. This one, it's got the Lonestar Ordnance grip, which is kind of like a Hogue grip almost in a lot of ways. It's like an M16 style grip, and had this little compartment here where you could put a couple Allen keys and things like that. Also kind of, interesting, especially at the time. This one has the constant air adapter on the back, which a lot of guns at the time probably had 12-gram bucket changer or something on it. So that was a little bit new. This one looks like there's no safety lever on it anymore, but it did have one originally, or probably had one originally. I've seen them on other guns. I got this gun actually from Dan at Paintball, which I always have to give props to Dan. He had this and I think the barrel from a different batch of parts and stuff he picked up, and I'd been always wanting to pick one up. Again, I was like envious of my friends that had them back in the day. And we also you would take like a PVC elbow to put a stick feed on the back of this, and that would give you the ability to load some to put a hopper or a stick feed, and the hoppers at the time were the very small, like 40 round guys. So let's air this up and see how it does here. That's good. Airs up, no leaks. I got a little over 1,000 psi of pressure in here, and get some reballs here. Can load up. Seems to cycle pretty well. Of course, all the cycling you're doing is by hand, but just like a Phantom or other guns, it doesn't cock unless you have air in it. So anyway, that is the Line SI Bushmaster, and let's try auto trigger. So that again, if you haven't seen that before, you hold the trigger down and pump it, and each time the pump handle and the valve comes forward, it fires the gun. So obviously most modern pump guns have that feature, but when this came out, that was something that not every gun had. Anyway, that is the Line SI Bushmaster, and very interesting pump gun. A lot of guys like to customize these still to this day. It's just kind of a timeless design, and one of several in the line of things like a Phantom and things like that, gun designs like that, with this kind of Nelson valve body style. which later you may have seen. You could just put a tool down the barrel like on the Phantom and adjust the valve. The Carter's like that too, where you can change the velocity that way rather than taking it apart to deal with different spring kits and things like that. But anyway, that is the Lonestar Bushmaster. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.